All right, folks, what's going on? Let's go ahead and get this thing started. All right, good evening, I guess. Let me go ahead and make sure the stream is up and running. All right, it's a handful of us here. That's good. The rest of them, I guess, are going to miss out on important information they're going to want. Shame for them, I guess, but good for us. Okay, so this will only take as long as it takes. I don't want to drag this out in any way, shape, or form. Do me a favor, please, just to make sure that this is coming over chat and everybody can hear me. Please respond in chat that yes, I can hear you, no problem. Audio's good, audio's bad. Like, let me know, so that way I can adjust it as needed. There is a 7-second delay from everything I say live to everything you hear. So I might type something that has no delay. You might type something that has no delay, but the audio visual has a 7-second delay. All right. So I'm going to ask you to please do that. Put something in chat, any word whatsoever. That way I can know that we're communicating and you are in fact hearing me. That'd be very helpful. Thank you. Okay. Well, if one can hear me, I'll assume you all can. All right, so I want to go through the questions you guys asked and come up with the answers at the same time. So that's the goal, to do all that. Let's see where we are here. Okay. Okay. So, what do we got? We've got, let's see. So I'm going to go ahead and put the screen on this. Yeah. I'm going to put summer assignment up. I'm not going to put your questions up because I don't really want to put your names on camera. Okay. So, okay. Let's see. We had 6 questions. We're going to take them in order. I'm going to start at the top. Let's see. For the regional report questions, do we write them on separate pieces of paper? Or do we write them on the doc? Okay, so that's a good question. So let's go ahead and scroll down to the regional reports. Well, actually, let's scroll up a little bit and we'll talk about sort of where everything gets discussed in terms of what goes where. Okay, so all the assignments list otherwise noted will be handed in online via Google Classroom. To do this, you create a single document file containing all of your answers. Okay, so with that said, unless there's an exception noted, it is a digital submission. So if we scroll down, fill out the regional report sheet for each of the regions below. The sheet can be found in the summer assignment section of the classwork tab on top of the Google Classroom page. You'll notice some chapter overlap, blah, blah, blah. You will print out 6 copies of the regional report blank sheets. Each one is to be filled out for one of the regions below. There are 6 regions. So you're going to print out the sheets and you're going to write in your answers, okay? That's what's expected of you. This is important. I'll explain why. There is, on the AP exam, a segment of the exam that actually limits the amount you can write by putting a boundary box around your writing. So you literally can't write more than that. Now, for students for whom writing a lot is scary, not the right class for you probably, but you will get better at writing as time goes on. I recognize many of you don't have any talent with writing at the moment because you haven't had any practice in writing at the moment. We will get there, do not worry. However, as a start of good practice, you need to get used to handwriting things. I realize that since COVID, it has become very, very easy, and I'll say it, lazy, for people, teachers and students alike, to rely on digital submissions. And I'm saying that fully aware that I am saying some of this can be a digital submission. But when it comes to the practice of writing in a way that requires some thought and a way that requires a sense of limitation upon what you're doing, without any question whatsoever, this is a practice you need to do. Like, actually practice this. So yes, you print out these sheets and you handwrite the answers and you submit them. A little word about handwriting. If I cannot read it, I do not grade it. It is that simple. Now, I have been able to read a great many terrible bits of handwriting in my life. You might think you have the worst handwriting I've ever seen. Unlikely, possible, but unlikely. So, yeah, you handwrite them. That's the deal. So I would recommend you write slowly and clearly. There's no rush to do these things, so nice, slow, and neat. writing in a sloppy fashion that makes it hard to read damages your grade because your reader cannot keep pace with anything you're trying to say. So that stuff needs to be done by hand, print out like it says. Okay. In the summer assignment, the 6 regional reports only 5-6 questions. Right. So there is a on the actual assignment here. Hold please. Let me go to it. I think the issue or the concern is that there is a missing set of questions. So someone mentioned that before, and it looks like the missing set is South Asia. Okay, so let me see what happened with the South Asia one. There's certainly a reason. I don't know why it was. It's probably just an oversight. Let me see. Regional report. South Asia. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, very interesting. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and add that South Asia one right now. So let me do that. So I'm going to create material. Okay. Missing South Asia regional report questions. One of the good things about having you guys not have this due for effectively another 20 days or so is that you can absolutely still have time to do this. All right, so South Asia, there it is. This is the missing regional report questions from the summer assignment. Okay, that is now there. I am putting that under the summer assignment topic, and it is going to be posted. There it is. So it's under material. It's not an assignment, but you don't really need the assignment portion of that because you're going to print out a sheet and write out the answers anyway. So there is that. That is how that one's going to work. It's there right now. It's she says missing South Asia region report questions. So here I'll bring it up on screen for your benefit. There it is. So that's there it is. That's what you're missing. Fair enough. You absolutely are entitled to this, and it should have been there from the beginning, but it's there now with plenty of time, so no harm, no foul. Okay, back to the questions at hand. Dramatis personae. Okay, so let me talk about the dramatis personae. So the problem with the dramatis personae from a summer assignment perspective is I require the ability to interview each of you individually right as the school year starts to begin because that is how I grade you. Unfortunately, we don't know our room assignments or what other teachers are in our rooms when we're not working and so on. So I made the decision not to do it effectively for the summer assignment. So the dramatis personae is not part of the summer assignment. I'll simply remove it and grade the assignment on the remaining elements. That said, it will be brought in as a quarter 2 assignment. Okay, so in quarter 2, you'll be asked to do this. It'll be the same format, same principles. You can expect a higher standard of what I expect because you're not on your own and you've had a quarter of class experience. So the conversation, and it is a conversation that we're going to have when we do that, will be, what's the word I could say? I will expect a higher standard of you in terms of your performance in that conversation. But it's not going to be in the summer assignment because I only found out literally yesterday what my schedule is, what room I'm in. We're in B110 all year long. That's a good thing. So that's where my extra helps will be. We're going to talk about the extra help schedule and all that once you guys get into school. But we're going to go ahead and put that off until quarter 2. So it's simply not a part of the summer assignment at this point. And if nobody else wanted to join us tonight to find out that, well, I guess they'll find out in their own way or they won't. Okay. What should we bring for AP week? That is a good question, and I don't provide an answer. So let me give an answer instead like this. I'm probably talking to the wrong people, but I've had 3, this might be my 3rd or my 4th, I don't remember, live streams throughout the summer. They have not been extraordinarily well attended. Now, do I expect them to be well attended? No, I definitely don't. I've had about 5 to 6 to 7 people attend these live streams, and that's been all I've gotten. Is that a problem? No, it's not a problem. But the reality is this course demands of you effectively on a maturity, cognitive, and effort scale, the same kind of things that starting in a varsity position on a school sports team would require of you. So if you know or are somebody who's been practicing all summer for your sport, or training all summer for your sport, or going on runs to keep in shape for track, and you haven't been doing these things, like, hey, here's a free live stream to help you understand material from ninth grade a little bit better, you're not making the right commitments. That doesn't mean it's required. It really isn't required. But you're going to find my general theme in class is I don't require anything of you. There are quizzes. You will perform on them as you perform on them. So things like, what do I need for class? I don't generally answer that question. I would ask you, what do you need to learn? If you're somebody who benefits from writing notes physically, then I suggest you have a pen and notebook and some way to organize that. If you're somebody who learns by doodling and you never take notes but you're always able to learn, I'm willing to let you try that as long as it continues to work. The moment it doesn't work, I'm going to ask to see your notes, and if you don't have anything but doodles, I'm going to say, well, doodling worked before, I guess it's not working now. If you have good grades and your doodles are a part of the reason why, I'm going to let you doodle all year long. If you're somebody who'd prefer to type out your notes, okay. I warn you that the maturity of a student is usually very low in front of a piece of technology. My instinct is going to be to tell you all, do not bring a Chromebook to school. I'm sorry, to my classroom, or bring it, but you're not using it. I think my instinct is to forbid them in class unless I need them for some reason and I can't possibly ponder what that reason would be at the moment. I'm not a fan of digital notes. I am somebody who doesn't write a thing down, personally. When I'm learning something, when I'm working, it's all digital, it's all typed. However, I trust my maturity and I know that that works for me. I'm not convinced that a bunch of students who in 5th and 6th grade had a COVID year thrown on them and have had this very weak amount of sort of instruction in how to properly notate and take notes. I'm not a fan of it. There is our textbook. Unironically, it is a fully online text. There are hard copy books available, but I do think the fully online text has some real advantages, and so I do use it. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that the method by which you learn is the method by which you learn, and you should have a much better sense of that than anything I would be able to tell you at this point. Not every student's success is based on their current practices. It could well be your natural talents far outstrip any of the difficulty that's been put in front of you. So therefore, any practice, no matter how poorly constructed, is still leading to success because you're naturally talented. That could very well be. You know, if I gave Michael Jordan a 20-foot hoop, he'd still outperform everybody else. That doesn't mean a 20-foot hoop is a good thing. It doesn't mean training on a 20-foot hoop is a good idea. It's not. So the basic idea of what I'm trying to say is you need to start doing some introspection as to what helps you learn. My job is to help you do more than you can do. Now, my job is to say, all right, here's where, I don't know, Tim is right now. I need to get Tim further than that by May. If that translates into a good a score on the AP exam, fantastic. If it has nothing to do with his score on the AP exam and it just translates into him becoming a better student, a better lifelong learner, even better. It's far more valuable than a test. So, yeah, there's a lot of this kind of stuff in there that we need to be talking about and making sure you guys are thinking about yourselves. But in terms of, do I have a material list? Am I going to hand you, like, I need a binder, I need loose leaf, you bring what you need for success. What I would say is that if I have a need for paper at any given moment, you should be able to produce it. If that means tearing it out of a notebook, that's going to be fine for me. And expect to write anything of substance, writing it out, like physically writing it out. So aside from making sure you have a few reliable pens and a piece of paper, and a paper source, I'd call it, and a plan for the organization of your note-taking, I don't really have anything else to offer. What I'd ask of you all now is I'm going to kind of talk about a few things about the course here generally. In the meanwhile, while I'm talking, if you could type into the chat any questions you might have about anything in the course or anything at all that I might be able to help answer, I'm happy to do it. I can't tell you your schedules. I cannot tell you what periods of the day you have your classes. Those things are not finalized. They never are finalized. That's a guidance department issue, and I can promise you they're almost certainly not. If they haven't mailed it to you now, they'll be mailing it to you soon, or however they're releasing it these days. I don't know. They might be doing full digital also. But I'll let you guys go ahead and kind of ask me questions. What is anything at all that you might want to know or you're not clear on? Now's your moment. I'm not doing another one of these before the school year starts. This will be the last time you see me unless I'm seeing you Monday through Friday next week. So let me know what your plan is, and let's chat about it. I'm taking into account my 7-second delay, and I'm seeing no new chats. So I'm going to carry on for a few more moments here, but I'm going to assume if I don't get any, there won't be any. So in general about the course, though, obviously this is something that maybe even mom and dad should be made aware of. You could feel free to tell them. It's not like you have to call them around the fire here. The course is an AP level course. You are encouraged to take the AP exam. The AP exam is in May. It is not in June. It is in May. And then at the end of June, you will have a New York State Regents exam as well, like every other 10th grade student takes, okay? So you have 2 final end of the year exams that really matter. There may be also, in addition to that, a final that I give prior to the AP exam. I have never done so. I probably won't. What I'll say is, as long as I get the sense from you guys, the students, that this has been working and we are operating as I do in normal years, there won't be any need for that. If I feel like the effort, the maturity didn't really develop during the school year on a sort of a group scale in a way I'd be pleased with, then you could expect to have that test as a way to sort of force that kind of compliance. But that's a long way off. In between the here and the there, I really do want to stress a huge portion of the course is you're reading a textbook. You're coming into class prepared, which means having read the textbook. I am going to be instructing you on skills and connected issues around that reading. So, for example, in class we might talk about like the role of bureaucracy in a society while you read about Chinese versus Roman bureaucracy. That'd be an example. The content element of this course is largely on you. So you're going to need a sensible way to track, maintain, and keep a hold of good notes so you can keep a hold of that information. The course grading is essentially 100%. It's not 100%, but it's damn close. 100% your, let's call them bi-weekly quizzes. We have a quiz when every chapter is over. We complete a chapter about every week and a half. There are 37 chapters in the course. We've got 40 weeks of school, and let me tell you something, you don't get 40 weeks worth of school days because I'll be sick, the school has assemblies, we had a fire drill, I have to give quizzes, I have to give, whatever it is. So there's a million reasons why, field trips, whatever. The ability to finish the course is razor thin every year, okay? Most schools, that's why most schools have a head start, or in a lot of other parts of the country, because they live in warmer weather, they tend to start already. Like they're in there the early part of August, not the late part of August or the early part of September. What that means for us effectively is that you and I have less time to do this material than most of the rest of the country does. Even further, most schools on Long Island have a 9th grade pre-AP course that actually takes their students through half of the course's material. Spoiler alert, we don't have that. So you guys are literally going to be doing twice the work of more or less any other student on Long Island in your position. So if that doesn't sound fair, well, life's not fair. So all you can do is simply trust in the fact that I've done this with great success for many, 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 many years. I'm happy to show you those numbers of how successful we have been. And we get to that success because I have a method that works. So if you follow along and do the things I'm telling you need to be done and have that maturity and are growth oriented and you want to make sure that you come out of this thing a better student than you started. Forget the grade for a minute, just a better student than you started. then I think you're going to find that you're doing just perfectly okay. All right, so like I said, those grades are basically quizzes. There are no homework grades, nothing like that. There are no effort grades. I don't do that. I'll go over this in far more detail both during AP week and then again when we're all together in the school year. But I want to give you again a sense of the culture of the classroom. It is about performance. It is performance-based learning. It is not effort-based learning. You may work very hard, and the person next to you may work very little, and you both might end up with an 85, and that's okay. That's perfectly fine. That's just the way things are. All right, guys. So if there is nothing else, I see no chat questions. I'm going to assume I've answered everything that was needed to be answered because I answered them all that was posted. I'm going to say we're going to call it there. I'll see you all Monday. Hopefully everybody here is coming on Monday, and we'll get right to it. Okay? Have a good one.